Hello and welcome to the third round of the PSGL of the Formula 13 division. We are at the Spa-Francorchamps circuit for this week's race. Just a few things to take note of on the driver front. London the Man is in the AlphaTauri once again, in place of one of the AlphaTauri drivers who is not around for the season. I think he's currently the only AlphaTauri representative in there, instead of either Dong Dance or Mustafa. I know that Dong Dance can't make it, so that could well explain it. The other changes are Speedquin, who's in McLaren instead of Milan, who isn't around for family reasons. Dion Null is back in the Aston Martin after missing the opening 2 rounds. I think that's about that. Jake Warrior, who would be with me this evening, is unable to make it due to health reasons, but we are hopeful that he will be back for next week's round in Zandvoort. So it'll be a short qualifying of 18 minutes, followed by a 22-lap event. So we should be done in around about an hour and a quarter. So rundown on the drivers' standings. Mr. Grumpy, after 2 rounds, leads the championship on 21 points, and it's Tomo Jr. in second on 16 after that victory in France. Then it's Gareth Hall in third on 14, and we've got Luke Tured and Gerber on 13 points each, and Istrai in 6th on 12. Long way to go yet in the season. 13 rounds it is. We end the season at Interlagos in November. And all the rounds we're going to this season, we've got Spa tonight, then Zandvoort the week after. Well, next week I should say. Then it's Monza the week after that. Then it's Silverstone, Red Bull Ring, Shanghai, Suzuka, Montreal, Mexico City, Austin, and Interlagos to end the championship. Of course, don't forget there is the PC F1 Championship that is on tonight. George Morgan in the commentary box for that. And there is also the F12 event that it will be on in around an hour's time, if you are watching this stream live. And then all the other events on the PlayStation. On Sunday, you've got F9, F10 in F11 at either 7 PM or 8 PM British Summer Time. And then on Monday evening, you've got F1 to F8 that are on at either 7 PM or 8 PM to round off the week's action for round 3 of the championship. The countdown has begun, so we're just looking to see who else has also made it into the lobby. I think we've got 19 drivers for this evening. We may have one more joining in time for the race. We'll have to see how that one plays out. I've been told Mustafa is unable to make it, one of the full-time AlphaTauri drivers, and so we wait for qualifying to commence. So qualifying does get underway. 18 minutes has commenced. In terms of who will decide to go on to the mediums or who's going to go on to the softs, well, that remains to be seen. So one of the Mercedes is heading out on the circuit. That's Clausen. What can he do in the machine that he's in? Tech 31's racing coming on saying Camrals for the win. And Kyan saying hello. Hello to you, Kyan. Hope you are well. That's Clausen out on circuit now. He picks up his first point of the season last time out in Paul Ricard with his 10th place finish. The round before that, he crashed out in Bahrain. He has been qualifying very well. He's qualified in the top 4 in both rounds in the F13 division in the PSGL. We're hoping to continue that run here today. So Clausen from Denmark, hoping to produce a really solid performance here today. He's on his outlap at the moment, so he doesn't need to be pushing so hard. Now, we've already got one of the Ferraris, I think, going for a spin, or is that just Cameral's slowing down? I think that's Cameral's just slowing down to let the field go by. We'll go back to Clausen because he's the first one round the circuit. Now, it would have been such a long racetrack that is sparse, 7 kilometres it is. There's not going to be as many chances to get a lap time in, so you don't want to be dawdling around on the racetrack. So Clausen, we go on board for a lap round this track. So down to turn 1, you brake just after the 100 metre board, down to second gear. Clausen missing the apex on the way through. Use the curve on the outside to accelerate, and then all the way down the hill. Think carefully how to position your car going into Eau Rouge. That was very smooth there from Clausen, very nice indeed. DRS open on the Camel Straight. Past the grandstands on the left and the trees on the right. And then brake for Les Combes. And then through Malmedy. That was very neat through that section, and then downhill through Bruxelles, and then the corner with no name, and then she couldn't come towards Porn. He executed that very, very nicely. He even downshifted a little bit, which is perhaps his choice to do that. Some drivers may decide to just drop some speed without actually shifting down a gear at all. Braking for Campus and then through Stavolo. So Clausen, can he post a really decent lap time? And Steve is already out of qualifying because he's crashed at Les Combes. So he's not going to be setting a lap time. So Steve will start from the back of the grid for the race. I think he did so in Bahrain as well, because he crossed out on the circuit then. Over the line comes Clausen. It's a 1:43.0. That puts him to the top of the timing pages. The next up will be, it was almost going to be F53 mode, but his lap time's been invalidated. Who's that behind him there? It's one of the Alfa Romeos, which is Sabetti. It's coming up behind the McLaren, who goes into the pits. But Sabetti over the line, and it's faster than Clausen. It's a 1:42.9, and he goes to provisional pole, but there is still an awful long way to go yet. Gerber goes faster on a 42.4. Got 2 Ferraris cross over the line next. First up is Lutzered on the mediums, 1:44.8 for him. And Camerals has ducked into the pits. We go to Istrai next, who's just going through Campus now. 1:14.4 by Sector 2. So Istrai coming through the bus stop chicane. Rear wing open, and it's going to be a 42.9. That's good enough to put him second. We'll go to, I think it's Gareth Hall. Is it Mr. Grumpy over the line? It's Mr. Grumpy. It's a 42.4 for him. So he goes to provisional pole position by only 0.02 of a second. We'll go to Clausen, is just going into the pits actually. Who's next over the line? Well, Tommy Jr.'s yet to get a lap on the board. So he's not going to be improving on his lap. Silvestри's backed off on his effort. Gerber likewise. I wonder if Luke Serrad is going for another run. No, his lap time's been invalidated. Camrals has yet to get a lap on the board. Through Blanchimont and using the curbs. Just after the 100 metre board, he brakes for the first part of the bus stop chicane. Very neat through there. And it'll be a 1:43.0. And it's good enough to put him in 5th. So Thomas Jr., race winner in France last week. He wants to be carrying that form into today to give himself a chance at the title. And maybe a promotion into another league for season 30. Oh, Luke Torres is about to go into the barrier there. Oh, he lost part of his front wing there. Things allowing other cars to go by. They're on flying laps. This Camrals goes round him, actually. Now the driver's got to be really careful. They don't impede other drivers' laps, or end up being disqualified by the game itself. And Josh Iwashi goes round in the Alpine. Front wing off, and that'll be him into the pit lane. So all seems to be kicking off at the moment. So watch Tommy Jr. come round the bus stop chicane now for his first time lap. Sarking likewise. Sarking goes 7th on a 43.2. Tommy Jr. goes to the top of the timing pages at a 1:41.9. That is a very, very good time there for Tommy Jr., who's failed to finish in his last 2 attempts at Spa in the PSGL. He's hoping that that jinx doesn't continue. Flying Crow does join the lobby now. He should take the remaining seats, which will be in AlphaTauri. Speedquin on circuit now in the McLaren. So Speedquin goes past Camrals, so he's just slowing down to let other drivers go past. And here's Speedquin braking for the chicane. Rear wing open. It'll be a 1:42.7, which puts him 4th. We'll go to the Aston Martin. Oh, and that's Lennon, the man, has gone for a spin, and at 53 Mo's spun off. So he's out of qualifying. Another one pushing too hard into the complex. It's a very tricky one to go through there because the tarmac just comes at you. And it's very easy to lose the balance or upset the balance of the car on the way through. Nossia's lap time's been invalidated. Silvestri's on a flying lap. Now Dion Knoll is on a flying lap in the Aston Martin. To come towards Bruxelles. If you have just joined us, we do welcome you. Do leave a like and do subscribe to the PSGL channel. And someone's gone off in sector 2. It'll be Speedquin just slowing down. So we know Stian and 53 Mo are not going to be setting lap times. So Dion Knoll, who was absent for Bahrain and France. His record at Spa is pretty decent, I have to say. Top 9 finishes in his previous 4 attempts at this track. 4th in season 28 in F2. 3rd in season 27 in F11, 6th in season 26 in F11, and 9th in season 25 in F6. His lap times of 1:43.4. He did lose a bit of time in the last sector, to be honest with you, so he will need to go again. Inossia going for another lap in the Aston Martin. The previous lap that he did do was invalidated for track limits. Gerber goes to the top of the timing pages on a 1:41.8. He goes to the top by a tenth. Harrison started the flying lap, as has Stabetti. Here's Inossia. He's going to have enough fuel to complete this lap and go for an out lap, I wonder. And he's coming through Blanchimont now. And through the last chicane, he's going into the pits. I thought he might do that, to be honest with you. And someone's gone for a spin. It looks like Dion Knoll is pointing the wrong way there. And Inossia is not coming back out on circuit for qualifying, so he will start at the back of the grid. So Mr. Grumpy, the championship leader, goes fastest in sector 2. No traffic in front of him at the moment. Oh, going through the bus stop chicane, but they're out of harm's way now, so Mr. Grumpy should have a clean run to the line. And Mr. Grumpy does go to the top of the time, does he? No, he goes 3rd fastest on a 42.0. So far this season, it's been Joshi Washi and Gerber taking pole. Now Joshi Washi is on a flying lap in the other Alpine. And to the pit straight, it'll be a 1:42.7, good enough for 6th. There is a Haas on circuit. That is Sarking, who's on another flying lap. 14 thousandths up by sector 2 from before. He's going into the pits. And Joshua Washi not going back out on circuit. In fact, he's retired on circuit, actually. So that's his session over. I wonder if he's crashed out, actually. As Sebastian goes past. Oh yeah, he's spun off into the barrier. So Joshua Washi will be starting no higher than 6th. Cameral's on a flying lap in the Ferrari. 1:42.7 puts him 7th. So Flying Crow, as Luke Thread decides to opt out of qualifying. How's he done that? Has he binned it in the barrier? Yeah, I think he has. So Cameral's session is over. Here's Flying Crow, who's looking to get his first lap on the board. I doubt that on the time on the right is the correct lap time he's about to put in. It could well just be on an out lap. So far it's Gerber and Tommy Jr. first and second with Mr. Grumpy third. 2 minutes remaining of the session. And Dino is the latest to bin his car out of qualifying, unless he's retired in the pits, of course. But Lennon is coming into the pits, and his teammate, Flying Carrot, has spun it. Now, I'm not sure what's happened there, and Sabetti has also gone for a spin, but he's continued. Mr. Grumpy also not going back out on circuit, so he will not be taking pole position. Tomo Jr. is not out on track, so he's not going to be taking pole. And Speakwin is on a better lap here. So what can Speakwin do here? As he approaches the bus stop chicane. He's 8 fastest at the moment. But with the lap time he's producing, he could go as high as 4th with this effort. So Speakwin, who didn't finish in the points last time out, despite starting within the top 3, he goes 4th on a 1:42.4. So he's on the second row of the grid. Sarkin starts one final attempt. Jehoven has yet to get a lap on the board. 1:15.7 by sector 2. Now Jehoven has finished his previous 5 races at Spa in the PSGL, but only once inside the top 10. 10 minutes remaining. Jehoven will get his lap done before the checker. I think he's slowing for the checker flag actually. Opposed to 1:47.4. Goes 13th. I think he's done that actually so that he doesn't have to start the race on the soft compounds. Gareth Hall is on a lap, who hasn't set a lap time yet. Dion Knoll also on a lap. Sarking also on a lap. Speakwin is also on a lap. He's absolutely flying there, look. 7 tenths up from before. So if he keeps this up, he could be on pole position for the Belgian Grand Prix. Sarking has stopped out on circuit. That could be a penalty coming his way. So Speakwin entering the start-finish straight. And he goes to pole position by 0.3 of a second. Speakwin is on provisional pole position. But just wait to see what others can do at the moment. Gareth Hall is coming towards the end of his lap now. 1:14.1, which is not the fastest we've seen anyone do by that stage of the lap in sector 2. Rear wing open on the Williams. It's a 1:42.3. He goes 6th with that. So Gareth Hall will start there. And Dion Knoll and Jehoven's lap times have been invalidated. So Speakwin is on pole position at Spa. That's the 3rd different pole sitter this season already, from a 3rd different team. There are no points for qualifying on pole in the PSGL, but that's most certainly going to give Speakwin a good advantage going into the race. And with so many drivers crashing out in qualifying there, we could be in for some form of attrition at this track. We don't even know what the weather conditions are going to be like as well, so that's something to bear in mind. So rundown on qualifying then. Speakwin on pole with Gerber alongside him in 2nd. Then it's Tomo Jr. and Clarison on the 2nd row next to each other. Mr. Grumpy will be 5th ahead of Gareth Hall. Sabetti is 7th and Joshua Washid 8th. Cameron's 9th and Istrai in 10th place. Sarking 11th ahead of Dion Knoll. And it's Rich Red on Jehoven on the 7th row. Lennon is 15th. And we've got Steve at 53 Mo, Flying Karat, Inosia and Dino all starting at the back as they did not set a lap time. So the top 10, providing it is a dry race of course, or it's going to be a dry start, they all have to start the race on the soft compound tyre. There were a couple of drivers that crashed out on their best, on the same set of tyres as they set their best lap time on, so I wonder how it will be sorted in terms of the race strategy from the game itself. So 20 cars raring to go on the grid for the start of the Belgian Grand Prix. And do take note that in the Constructors' Championship, Alpine are ahead by 6 points over Ferrari. Alfa Romeo are third with 20. And there are 3 teams still yet to score a point this season: McLaren, Aston Martin, and Alpha Tauri. So we're underway for the formation lap. So Speakwin ahead, and an opportunity to find out who is starting on what. So the top 10, as I've already mentioned, are on the soft compounds. Dion Knoll is as well. Inosia is on the hards. All the others are starting on the mediums. I would take a good bet that we will see a safety car in this race, if not a few times. That could depend on how the drivers choose to behave on track. And whilst we're waiting for the start, in terms of the number of subscribers, the PSGL has gained in the last week. When we did the stream for France, by the time the race start had been getting on the way, we were at 5.72. We are now at 6.77. So big thank you to everyone that's subscribed and be watching these races. Do keep them coming, as the Premier Sim Gaming Leagues continues to grow. More and more drivers getting involved as well, as the drivers approach Pouhon. Do make sure you leave a like and don't forget to subscribe, guys, if you haven't already done so. We've got Flex NL saying Clausen for the win. Kaya Lay saying Cam and Luke on the podium. So we've got a couple of Cam Rules fans out there. The very best of luck to Cam, who is starting from 9th on the grid. There are plenty of drivers on this grid who are still yet to score a point this season. They are Milam, who isn't around tonight. Ab53 Mo has yet to score, as is Dion Knoll, Inosia Jehovin, Don Danks, Mustafa, Darth Silo, Dark Whip, Dan WDL, Speakwin, Flying Kratz, and Behave Dave 92. All the drivers are coming back onto the grid now, as we are ready to go for this 22-lap Belgian Grand Prix at Spa. Everyone is in position then, and we are ready to go. The 5 red lights appear. When they go out, we'll be racing at Spa. It's lights out, and away we go. Quinn gets off to a good start. Gerber not as good, as we watch Toro Jr. go to the inside of the Mercedes. They enter through turn 1. Someone has gone off in the background. It's Lennon, the man who's out of the race already before La Source. So he must have had a coming together with someone. We've got a virtual safety car already. So the cars stick to the Delta. There's been an incident involving Lennon, the man. I don't know who made contact with him as they came into La Source, but he is out already and still pointless after 3 races. I think he may have scored a point in Bahrain, actually, but that is either way not a good start to his race. I think someone's been penalised as well. Flying Karat has picked up a penalty for a collision with Steve under the virtual safety car. Those 5 seconds can be taken at his next pit stop. But Quinn is out in front with Gerber 2nd, Tommy Jr. 3rd, Mr. Grumpy's up to 4th, and it's Clausen 5th. Gareth Hall is in 6th, ahead of Sabetti, Josh Iwashi, Istray, and Dion Knoll rounding out your top 10 so far. Now we're just waiting for the virtual safety car to end. It can end at any time. As we watch Gerber, who's right behind Quinn, and we're back underway again. So Quinn is in the lead with Gerber behind. And we've got Tomo Jr. and Mr. Grand Prix, the two drivers who have won races this season in F13, in third and fourth places on track. So Clausen losing a position at the start there. It is the third race in a row he's qualified in the top four. So he's lost one position so far, but he's in the line, but he's crashed! Clausen crashes on the exit of Stablo, nearly took one of the Alfa Romeos with him. Oh, that's terrible for Clausen. He touched the curb on the exit, and now he's pointing the wrong way. Oh, that's terrible luck. He's going to fall to the back of the field after that. The driver's coming around to complete the first lap then. Quinn leads ahead of Gerber and Simon Jr. with Mr. Grumpy next up in the Alpine. There's no DRS for the first two laps, so the driver's going to have to make do. We're passing by the old-fashioned way. They are coming into Eau Rouge now at full speed for the first time in this race. As Speakerin goes through, Gerber almost nearly lost it as well as we watch. I think the leaderboard is currently glitching at the moment. Either way so far, Tommy Jr. and Clausen's in the pits and out of the race. So clearly too much damage in the Mercedes for him to continue. See that he will not be going any further. Flying Crow is in the pits for a new front wing. As we watch Dion Knoll going past this try for what looks like 8th place. We see the Alpine of Mr. Grump. Oh, no, it's not. It's Joshua Washi diving to the inside of Sabetti to go up into 6th position. So he gets past. So Speakerin in the lead. Gerber behind with Tommy Jr. third, Mr. Grumpy. Gareth Hall is in 5th place. He's had a good start to this. Joshua Washi is in 6th. We'll have a look to see who's gained what. So the biggest jumper is Dino from 20th to 13th. But as you can see, Tomo Jr. making a mistake on the exit of Fanya before Campus. Now has he got damage to his front wing, I wonder? He's not going very quick, but he spins! Tomo Jr. spins round and Av53 Mo's out of the race. So Av53 Mo has only completed 2 laps, 2 racing laps throughout the whole season so far. And it's not getting any better for him. Tomo Jr. spins round. We've got our second virtual safety car of the race. It could turn into a safety car if the game decides to do that, but I don't think it's going to do now. So Av53 Mo has retired for the 3rd race in succession. He really is not having a good season so far. But Tomo Jr., he made a mistake on the exit of Fanya, and he made a second one on the exit of Stavlo. He's got an awful amount of work to do now. He's got no damage, it seems, so he is able to continue. But Av53 Mo's races ended on the spot. We are now on lap 3, and Jehovin's out of the race. What's happened to him? He's spun on the exit of Eau Rouge. So he's gone as well. So Jehovin becomes the 4th retirement. We are only on lap 3. So that's another driver to exit from this race. And we're back underway again. And DRS has been enabled. There's any drivers making a move at the moment? Not quite so. There's Inosia in 13th place. As we watch Speakerin, who's 0.6 of a second clear of Gerber. I'd imagine Mr. Grump is going to be closing on these guys. There you go, look. Not too far behind them. I've got a feeling with the way this race has gone so far, I think we will get a safety car. It's just a matter of when. As the drivers come towards the bus stop chicane. So Speakerin out in front with Gerber 2nd. Then there's Mr. Grumpy in 3rd place. Gareth Hall in 4th now. Joshua Washi 5th. Now can Gerber get right on the gearbox of Speakerin and have a go with DRS on the Camel Straight? Oh no, he won't! He's going into the barrier, he's out of the race! So Gerber, after starting on the front row, has lost it at Eau Rouge, and his race has come to an end. That is such a shame. I think someone else has gone into the barrier. Steve's out of it as well. Carnage at Spa. And surely this must be a safety car, and now it is. Goodness gracious me. How is this race playing out the way it is? So Gerber is not going to get to the end of the race after finishing on the podium last week in France. It's all come crashing down to earth for him here in Belgium. Now this could be good news for those on the soft compound tyres. Now Flying Crow wants to go past the safety car. So we're down to 14 runners already in this race. So I did call it after all. Not that I was putting a commentator's curse, but you know what I mean. What a crazy race this has been so far. So looking at the tyres now, the top 8 are on the soft compounds. So Speakin goes into the pits, as does Mr. Grumpy, who's now in second place at the moment anyway. I think all the drivers who are on the soft compound are coming in. So this could allow Luke to Red to take the lead of the race. So we're just watching cars coming in as Speakin does get out without needing to wait for the Williams to go past. So he will take back the race lead, I should think. In fact, I think all the drivers are coming in pretty much for a change of tyres. So Speakin is going to retain his lead. Mr. Grumpy second, Gareth Hall is third. Dion Knoll is up to fourth place because Joshua Watchie had to wait for the Alpine mechanics to service Mr. Grumpy, so he's lost a position in the pits. So Blind Crow also coming in the AlphaTauri. So all 14 drivers coming into the pits at the end of that lap there. Now just watch to see what Blind Crow decides to do here. Is this mediums going on for him? It is. And Sarking's out of the race. What's happened to him? He's crashed at Eau Rouge. So another victim at Eau Rouge. So Sarking's gone from this race. First lap out of the pits, he bins it at Eau Rouge under the safety car. Unbelievable. To be quite honest with you, I don't know how many finishes we are going to get at this rate. I really, really don't know. I hope we do get as many as we can. Now it's top 10 that score points. 16 for the race winner, 12 for second, 10 for third. Right the way down to 10th place to get 1 point. There's also a point on offer for the driver that sets the fastest lap. And I have to say, with there being only 13 runners left in the race, it may well be worth going for it. And we are only on lap 5. And the safety car lights are still on, so it'll go around for one more lap. So, as it stands in the championship, Mr. Grumpy being in second place, he would move on to 33 points. Tommy Jr. is still in the race. He's outside the points. Gareth Hall, who's in third, would go up to second. So he would get 10 points for finishing third. He'll move on to 24 points. So it'd be 9 points off the championship lead. So Mr. Grumpy would extend his lead at the top. So Speakwin will be waiting for the safety car to dot back in. And Jehovah's just coming in saying, got to love these garbage physics. In the middle of Eau Rouge, front right tyre slightly touched right side curb, and in a millisecond lost all the rear grip, and then there was nothing I could do anymore. Yeah, I mean, Eau Rouge is a very tricky one to get through, isn't it? I always suggest to just go through it smoothly. But then again, you're on a full tank of fuel at the same time, so yeah, it's a very tough pill to swallow. I can understand that. So we've got 13 drivers circulating. Sarking out of the race, crashed under the safety car. Gerber out. Stee likewise on the same lap as he did. Jehoven out. F13 Mo out. Clausen stopped in the pits, and Lennon crashed out just before last source on lap 1. So the safety car comes in at the end of this lap. So Speakwin will slow down and back the field up, and will allow the safety car to go. So Speakwin has gone now before they get to the bus stop chicane. Very nice restart, in fact. As we watch Mr. Grumpy and Gareth Hall almost going toe-to-toe through the bus stop chicane there. So the green flag is back on the way as we watch Josh Iwashi go to the outside of the Aston Martin. Contact made between the two drivers. Josh Iwashi goes off track. It gets past him now. Surely he'll have to give that place back as he overtook by going off the racetrack. A little clout with the wall there. Will they all get through safely? Dion Knoll cuts the track, gets the time penalty for that. Now, will the others all get through as well? I think they will do. So all 13 through Eau Rouge safely. DRS disabled until the third lap of the restart. As watching Ossia make a move on Dino to go up into 9th place. Sabetti's off though in the Alfa Romeo. He's gone for a spin. Has he got damage to his front wing? Doesn't look as though he's got, but he's fallen out of the points. Speakwin in the lead. Mr. Grumpy's 1.2 seconds behind him. Gareth Hall is third. Now I'm just thinking with Speakwin and Mr. Grumpy on the mediums, should Gareth Hall keep his car on track, the tyre grit will come to him at the end of the race. In the meantime, those on the mediums will be looking to pull clear of the rest. The drivers coming into the bus stop chicane. Come around to complete lap 7 of this Belgian Grand Prix. Speakwin with a new fastest out, 1 minute 45.8. Oh, that was not the best line going to Eau Rouge there from Speakwin. Oh, his try nearly lost it. And that will cost him a position to Camrose and Inossia. At least he's kept his car in the race, though. Inossia's going to have a good run on Camrose down to the inside as they come through Lacombe. And thankfully they don't touch. And the Ferrari stays ahead. You see Thomas Jr. being passed there. I think his car is being controlled by the AI at the moment. So Mr. Grumpy 1.2 seconds behind. Now, if you remember in Bahrain, Mr. Grumpy inherited the race victory after Inosia crashed out with 3 corners remaining. Now Speedquin is aiming to take a victory here. I think Speedquin is one of the reserve drivers in the Formula 13 division. He's doing a fine job in the McLaren in place of Milam, who couldn't be around tonight. DRS now enabled. Oh, someone's off. Joshi Washi going off there on the exit of Radion, but he's continued. And Inossi is going to pull alongside the Ferrari of Camrals. Not enough room on the inside, so Inossi waits behind again. So Speedquin leads still at the moment. Mr. Grumpy second, Gareth Hole doing a fine job in the Williams in third place. Inossi are putting Camrals under enormous pressure at the moment. Now, Inossi is on the mediums, Camrals is on the hards. So, oh, Speedquin's gone for a spin though. The race leader has gone for a spin. So, on the exit of Fanya, Speedquin has lost it. He falls behind Inossi. And he's down to 6th place now. So Mr. Grumpy into the lead of this Belgian Grand Prix. As Dino goes past Istrai for 8th place. So Gareth Hall up to 2nd, then Dion Knoll 3rd, but he has got a penalty hanging over him. Flying Correct dive into the outside of Istrai, who goes into the pits. That explains it. He's got front wing damage. And I think Joshi Washi's got damage as well to his car. So both of them into the pits for a change of tyres as Inossia and Speedquin get past the Ferrari. And someone else is off. It's Mr. Grumpy! So Mr. Grumpy's the next to spin at Eau Rouge. But remarkably, he's kept going. And someone else is off. Camrals into the barrier for Ferrari. And he's out of the race, and that brings out the 2nd safety car of this. So he will not be going any further. He got to the podium last week in France, but he's not going to be finishing today. And Mr. Grumpy, despite that spin, he is in 3rd place, but Gareth Hall in the Williams is into the lead of the race. Now, has Mr. Grumpy got a penalty, actually? I think that was for track limits. So that must feel dreading there for Mr. Grumpy with that spin. But he's still in the top 3. As the field catch up to the safety car once more. So 12 left in the race now. We're on lap 10. Now I wonder if Gareth Hall may decide to pit in for a change of tyres here. And I'd be interested to see if Mr. Grumpy's picked up damage as well. And he does go in, I think. Oh, that was a very tight way of entering the pits. He's got through. Now Inossia decides to stay out, which is interesting. Quinn likewise. He had to wait for the Alpines to come in there. And so Mr. Grumpy did need to come in for a change of nose cone. So Gareth Hall is now 5th after that pit stop. Dion Knoll 6th. So your race order is Inosia, Quinn, Luke Red, Thomas Jr., who's 4th, as his car is currently controlled by the AI at the moment. Gareth Hall 5th, Noel 6th, Dino 7th, Mr. Grumpy 8th, Flying Correct 9th, Josh Iwashi 10th, Sabetti 11th, and this try has just come into the pits, is now 12th. But at least he's still in the race. And this try will want to be catching up to the field as the safety car continues to circulate. So Inosia leads a race for the first time since 2 weeks ago in Bahrain. So Mr. Grumpy is 8th after that front wing change. So the safety car remaining out there for another lap as we watch this try catch up to the back of the field now. There's the Alfa Romeo of Sabetti ahead of him. Now Inosia has only competed in the PSGL last season, and he's only finished at Spa, resulted in a DNF. It was in the F12 event. For Mr. Grumpy, he has either DNF'd or finished 5th in his previous 5 attempts at this track in this particular league. But Dion Knoll has by far the best record out of all the drivers. Though a lot of them are newcomers for this season. So Inosia. Wait for the safety car to come in. When it does so, we'll have 10 laps remaining of this Belgian Grand Prix. Now this is going to be the thing here, because the drivers at the front are on older tyres than those behind, so they'll need to watch their toes here. I think Dion Knoll, he is behind Gareth Hall at the moment. Oh, we don't want to be making contact with him under the safety car, mate. The safety car is coming in at the end of this lap. So Inosia will go when he is ready to do so. Now Inosia, otherwise known as Billy. Has he gone yet? He has now. So Inosia leads on the restart. We're back on the way at Spa as we watch Gareth Hall make a move on Tomo Jr. And then we've got Speakwin. Thinking about a move on Inosia. Mr. Grumpy passing Dino for 7th place already. As we watch the Joes go through Eau Rouge now. See Inosia and Speakwin getting through there. Luke's Red as well. And Istrai going toe-to-toe with Sabetti over 11th spot. Sabetti got slightly out of shape through Eau Rouge, which has allowed Istrai to go past here. Which he does. So Istrai in the Haas moving up into 11th spot. There's Noel in the Aston Martin, who's in 5th, behind Gareth Hall. Martin Thomas Jr., whose car is continuing to be controlled by the AI at this moment of time. And someone's gone off in sector 2. Joshiwashi's gone round in the Alpine. So he falls to the back of the field after that. So Gareth Hall and Luke Red. Close and really close to each other right now. But there's Dion Knoll going to the inside of both of them. Makes contact. Has to wait behind a little bit. Oh, and someone's in the wall. It's the Williams of Gareth Hall. And he's been taken out of the race. Was it Mr. Grumpy who came together with him? And we've got yet another safety car. So the 3rd safety car in this race. And it's this time not for an accident at Eau Rouge. It's for an accident on the exit of the bus stop chicane. Gareth Hall will be livid. I can't remember if it was Dino or Mr. Grumpy that came together with him. But we have yet another safety car in this race. Incredible. It was the Alpine of Mr. Grumpy that ran into Gareth Hall. So the stewards may want to have a look at that. Now, Mr. Grumpy already has 3 penalty points this season after a collision he was involved with Camrals in Bahrain. So I'd imagine the stewards will want to be having a look at that incident. So whilst we wait for the field to capture the safety car, just to look at who's got what in terms of penalties, Dion Knoll's got 3 seconds, as has Mr. Grumpy. Flying Karat and Joshiwashi also have 3 seconds each. And then there were 11. Now, Inosia hasn't scored a point yet this season. Neither has Quinn. Luke Red has, though. He got a 6th place finish in Bahrain and a 4th in France. He's in 3rd place right now. And with where he is, it would not be enough for him to move into the lead of the championship with where Mr. Grumpy is at the moment, but he'll be closer to him. Now, Inosia is into the pits for Aston Martin. Now, this is interesting. I'd imagine he's going to go into a set of soft tyres here. Speakwin's in likewise, as is Flying Crow, Istrai and Joshiwashi, who have got nothing to lose now. So they're taking a gamble. So Inosia rejoins ahead of Quinn. So Flying Crow rejoins 9th, Istrai 10th and Joshiwashi 11th. Salute to Red leads the race. Oh, Speakwin's gone! What's happened to him? So Dion Knoll has also gone for a spin, and Speakwin, who has led a lot of the race, is out of the race under the safety car. Now, what's happened there? Now, Joshiwashi's also gone for a spin at Eau Rouge. But Speakwin, who started the race on pole position, is out of the Belgian Grand Prix. I think Inosio has come together with Speakwin, you know. I don't know whether Inosio jammed on the brakes or something and Speakwin just ran into him, but that's something of which the drivers will need to discuss with the stewards about post-race. Because it was a very, very bizarre chain of events. Now Jehovin's coming in saying Dion spun, and when turning his car around he took out Quinn. Which could be true, but if he was already turning the car around then the car would have been ghosted. Which could well have put Quinn off, if I'm honest with you. We'll find out later. The safety car is coming in at the end of this lap. We've got 7 laps to go at the end of this one. It really is anyone's game for the win now. So Mr. Grumpy's in 3rd place on the mediums. Now Lutzered is on 9-lap-old hards. So they go into the chicane now. We can see Dino running wide there at the bus stop chicane. That's going to allow Lutzered to pull clear of the rest. So we're back on the way yet again here at Spa. So Mr. Grumpy going to the outside of Dino. He gets through on him. And up into 2nd place he goes. Now Inosio will want to get alongside. Oh, that's the Alfa Romeo of Sabetti ahead. Oh, avoid the barrier there. Inosio does so. But he's going to go side by side into Eau Rouge with the Alfa Romeo. He's going to break the latest. Oh, Inosio backed out of it, and wisely so. There's no DRS for the first 2 laps of the restart. As we watch the Alfa Romeo and the Aston Martin go toe-to-toe once more. And Inosio fighting back on Sabetti. Surely he's going to have the inside line into Bruxelles. There just wasn't enough room for him to get past. So Inosio's in 6th place still. But it's crucial for him to get past Sabetti as soon as he can, which he may do into Pouan. Oh, that's very ambitious there. Contact made. And Inosio spins round. And he nearly takes out 2 other cars with him. So Inosio's got damage to his front wing, surely. And that will be him into the pits for sure at the end of the lap. We can see Flying Kite going side by side with Istrai as they go into campus. And that's going to allow Joshua Wassi to pull alongside. Now, is he going to get through? He does so. Flying Kite just avoids the wall as well. We'll go back to the front though, because Mr. Grumpy is all over the back of the Ferrari of Lutzered as they come towards the bus-stop chicane. Side by side going into the last couple of corners of the lap. Mr. Grumpy can't quite get his nose in front, and so he stays behind Lutzered for now at least. And Dion Knoll gets penalised again for track limits. Inosio into the pits for Aston Martin. He may as well continue because there's only 10 cars left and he could get a fastest lap. Now Lutzered going through Eau Rouge fine, and then Radion. Is Mr. Grumpy going to find a way through? To the outside he goes. Can Mr. Grumpy get through here? Round the outside. Not quite so. Now, Mr. Grumpy is carrying a time penalty to his name at the moment. 3 seconds it is. Inosio rejoins in 10th place on a brand new set of soft tyres. He'll be ruining that mistake. It was definitely far too ambitious to go for the inside into Pouan there. So Sabetti is 4th. Tomo Jr. 5th. Joshua Wassi is in 6th place. Dion Knoll moves in front of Istrai. He's now under threat from Flying Carrot as well. So Flying Carrot dive into the inside there, and he goes through. That was very, very ambitious. Oh, and that's the other Aston Martin of Dion Knoll. He goes for a spin. It's been a terrible couple of laps for the Aston Martin team. Luck has not been on their side this season as Joshua Wassi hits the wall as well. He clouts the wall, but he just avoids making further contact. But he's going side by side with the AlphaTauri there of Flying Carrot. Side by side they go. And Joshiwashi's into the pits. He's got damage to his front wing. That explains it. Oh, he's out. He's out of the races, Joshiwashi. His car has hit the barrier on the entry to the pit lane and he's gone. That's yet another retirement. And Mr. Grumpy's moved into the lead now. Luke Torelli's got a penalty to his name. Oh, he had to go through the runoff area of Eau Rouge to avoid hitting the barrier. But Mr. Grumpy's out in front now on the road. But he's got a penalty to his name. So Dino, who does not have a penalty and is running in third place, could be on course to take the victory here as it stands. And someone's gone off. It's Flying Krat this time in the AlphaTauri. Has he got damage to his front wing? Don't think he has done. Istry's also been in for a change of tyres. And Dion Knoll gets through on the AlphaTauri to go up into 6th place now. So Dino, he'll be on better tyres, I would imagine, than Lutzer Red. Lutzer Red becoming out of shape on the exit of Fanya. So Joshiwashi retires for the 2nd race running. So someone else has gone off in sector 2. Is that Flying Karat again? That's gone for another spin, I think it is. But Dino's through on Lutzer Red. He gets up into 2nd place. Can he go after race leader Mr. Grumpy perhaps? Now, he's not going to have DRS because he's not within a second of him. But Lutzer Red is going to have DRS because he's within a second of Dino. So 4 laps remaining. Oh, Mr. Grumpy's gone! Mr. Grumpy in the barrier! So another race leader goes from this race. Mr. Grumpy has crashed out at Radion. And we've got another safety car here at Spa. Mr. Grumpy, the championship leader, who had a good chance of extending his lead at the top of the title battle, is not going to score points. So Dino moves into the lead of the Belgian Grand Prix. We've got another safety car. Istry comes into the pits for another change of tyres. Inossia has got another chance to salvage something big from this race. Now we're down to just 8 runners, would you believe it? 8! There are 4 drivers with time penalties still at the moment as well. Now I would imagine the leaders will go onto a set of soft tyres. This is absolutely unbelievable. What a chaotic race we have had here at Spa. So Dino, will he decide to pit in at the end of this lap? He may decide not to, but we'll see. And yes, he does decide to. Lutzer Red is doing the same. But Sabetti stays out. That's interesting. Tommy Jr.'s car is controlled by the AI anyway. So Dion Knoll, will he decide to go into the pit lane? No, he doesn't. Dino rejoins behind Dion Knoll. In 4th position now. Flying Krat also in the pits for AlphaTauri. And he wants to get another set of soft tyres on. And Istry's coming in yet again. I think he's on the wrong set of softs, to be quite honest with you. So Istry gets another set of softs I think one of the older sets anyway. The fresher ones he's got left. Or the freshest ones he's got left. He's running in 8th place anyway, so he's on course for points. As is everyone who is still running. So Zabetti leads. Tomo Jr. 2nd. Dion Knoll is 3rd. Dino 4th. Lutzered 5th. Inosia 6th. Flying Croat 7th. And this try 8th. And that's all we've got left. Now, considering we've got 2 laps remaining at the end of this one, DRS is now disabled for the rest of the race. So Zabetti will be thinking about when to go here. The safety car is coming in at the end of this lap. And you don't want to go too early. It's going to be very close to the safety car though, is Zabetti. When Tomo Jones just let the field go by there. Although his car is controlled by the AI, and that's raised confusion. But we're back on the way again. So Zabetti leads, Dion Knoll 2nd. And Dino going to the inside of Dion Knoll, gets up into 2nd place. So through Eau Rouge now for the penultimate time in this race. Zabetti. Can he get through safely? No, he can't! He's into the barrier, he's out! Zabetti, another race leader, is out of the race! That hands the lead to Dion Knoll now in the Red Bull. Well, it's Dino, sorry, but Dion Knoll is up to 2nd place with a penalty hanging over him. Lutzered 3rd, Inosia 4th. Inosia doesn't have a penalty at all. So that's the 13th retirement of this race as Lutzered almost gets past actually the Aston Martin of Dion Knoll, but goes wide on the exit of the left-hander. So whilst Dino maybe shooting off into the distance, the battle for 2nd rages on. But Dino's now got a time penalty for track limits. So this could hand Inosia the race victory as it stands. So Dino 1.9 seconds clear of Lutzered. Now, is Dino's gap over Inosia good enough right now? The answer to that question is no, it's not. No, Inosia needs to get past his teammate here. And Dino posts a new fastest lap. And Inosia's over 3 seconds behind now, so he needs to get past his teammate here if he's going to go for the race victory. Which he does so, I think. He's got more grip than his teammate, and he gets through. So we're now on the last lap of the race. Dino gets through Eau Rouge safely. But Inosia doesn't! Inosia's going to go into the barrier. Is he out of the race? Yes, he is! Inosia's gone! So for the 2nd time this season, Inosia loses a points finish by crashing out on the final lap. So Dino is on course for the race victory now. When you look at the time penalties, you can see that his time penalty is 3 seconds, but so is Lutzered and Flying Croat. So who's going to finish 2nd in this race then? It could end up being Tomo Jr. I think Inosia and Zabetti will still get points because they've completed enough laps. But here's Dino on his final lap. We'll just see if there's any other battles going on. I think it's all pretty much calmed down now, to be honest with you. But here's Dino. After starting at the back of the field as well. Would you believe it? So for the 2nd time this season, a driver starting at the very back of the field is going to take victory. This time, though, it's going to be Dino and Red Bull. through the bus stop chicane for the last time. Dino takes the victory here at Spa. He wins the Belgian Grand Prix. Lutered crosses the line second on the road at least. But who's going to be on the podium? It's going to be Tomo Jr. So Tomo Jr. is on the podium for Alfa Romeo in third. But it's a race win for Dino here at Spa. Congratulations. What a sensational Grand Prix we have had. It was a dry race as well. It had nothing to do with rain whatsoever. Unbelievable stuff. So your final race result then is Dino, who wins and gets the fastest up of the race. Lutered second. Tomo Jr. is third. Dion Null fourth. Flying Karat fifth. Ishide the last of the finishers in sixth. Inosia a lap down after crashing out, so he still gets points. Sabetti in eighth. He also gets points as well. Mr. Grumpy out of the race. Joshiwashi likewise. Quinn, Gareth Hall, Camrals, Sarking, Gerber, Stee, Jehovin, F13 Mo, Clausen and Lennon did not finish the race. So after all of that, the championship as it stands is that Dino's victory, I think that's his first, there's his second points finish of the season. He moves on to 26 points. Tomo Jr.'s third place moves him on to 26. Lutered's second place gets him 12 points for that. So that moves him on to 25 points. But Dino's victory moves on to 26. So with that, he is now the new championship leader after 3 rounds of the season. Well, thank you for joining us. Do make sure you go to the other races that's happening right now, particularly the PCF1 events, and of course F12 for PlayStation. And the other schedule, looking at the schedule for the weekend or the week ahead, on Sunday you've got F9, 10, 11 for PlayStation at 7 PM or 8 PM British Summer Time. On Monday is F1 to 8 at either 7 PM or 8 PM, along with the before the PC races on Wednesday for round 4 of the championship in Zandvoort. Well, thank you for joining us. We hope you enjoyed them. Do make sure you leave a like and do subscribe to the PSGL channel. I can't wait to do it all over again next week in Zandvoort in a week's time on the 2nd of September, 7 PM British Summer Time for F13. I'm Tom Cairns, and I'll speak to you again soon when the PSGL returns.